Hey everyone, welcome back to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel, the DOU. Well, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new here, welcome. I appreciate your time here. Hopefully out of the 100 or so videos, you'll find something that intrigues you enough to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely thumbs up it. So that would be awesome. Hey, but we're on this video today, so let's concentrate on this. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have formally shut down their charity. No, do not say it isn't so. What? This charity that never got a leg off the ground, not even a toe off the ground? Don't say it. Don't say the Sussex Royale that you tried to steal what the Queen appointed you a name for a country that is so rich and full of this beauty, and yet you try to lower it to your standards and sell something off of it like it was a hot plate on a rocket stove in the woods. So now you realize you come out here in a pandemic, come to LA, drag your royal prince husband to LA, where nothing is real and the other part is dirty. And of course, overpopulated. Kind of doesn't jive well with your whole humanitarian and living simply and cleanly and honestly by Meghan. So, people, we are seeing the demise of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's whole big circus show. We are seeing the end of it, the beginning of the end. So Meghan Markle has formally shut down the charity. Let's see through the article if it's true. So they're taking measure to start their new life. The couple has formally closed their charity, Sussex Royale. Their foundation is called Archwell. People reported on the June 20th that since Harry, Meghan, and their one-year-old son, who doesn't exist, arrived in Los Angeles earlier this year, allegedly doesn't exist, my opinion, they had the opportunity to speak with some incredible thought leaders, and those conversations have been deeply educational and helpful in identifying the work they want to do with Archwell. Archwell sounds like a cookie, and if you don't do that nonprofit or project completely on target and on point, that foundation, project, nonprofit, for-profit business, Archwell, is going to just look like a giant poop cookie, because people are not going to understand Archwell outside of the complexity involving Meghan and Harry, which will always be a stigma for it. So I feel like any businesses that are going to link up with Archwell or other nonprofits are going to be suspect to all kinds of things, because we, the people around the world, are going to question Archwell. Because is it going to be a foundation much like the Clintons, where they have just a slush fund and it's just like, let's throw some money in here so we can get some other people to throw some money in here, and then we can use the money for stuff that we want. Like, we'll say we'll build 17 houses, but we'll only build 2, and we'll pocket the rest, or pocket some of the rest, and run from anybody who asks us about those funds, or we'll refer them to a page on our website. Meghan would be good for that. They are applying all their learnings to the future of the organization. So I feel like these two are going to be separating. I feel like this is the beginning of the end. I feel like Archwell is something that nobody can relate to, and they're hard pressed to find, something that we think makes sense in terms of like being equal to anything great. So in other words, they put in and out ungreat things, if that makes any sense. So I feel like Archwell won't be anything I'll be really looking at to take my little money and put it into that, hoping for something really great. I feel like nothing great comes from Meghan Markle. And if it does come from Prince Harry, a lot of that greatness came from just the momentum or the energy backed behind his own family legacy. So what I'm saying is I don't know that anything Prince Harry does with Meghan will actually be great in terms of the definition of great or greatness. While the Duke and Duchess are focused on plans to establish a new nonprofit organization given the specific UK government rules surrounding use of the word royal. Well, we all know that, so we're going to skip that. They cannot use royal. Haha, the Queen does in fact own the word royal, apparently, because that was Meghan's snide remark to the Queen not permitting her to use Sussex Royal or Sussex Royale. So apparently the Queen forbid, because I guess it's using the word royal, legitimately it is a royal family. So she does not own the rights to the word, but in the context that it's being used in, I'm sure legally she cannot use it. So that must have pissed her off. Now, we're not going to go through this because it mentions Scobie, so I'm not trying to deal with Scobie, who is Meghan's PR beep. I'm not trying to BITCH. I'm not trying to deal with that. Let's go forward. The title of Meghan and Harry's new organization connected to Archie, their son's name. Well, we haven't seen this son, and you would think that if you made a business under the name or guise of your son, you would clearly share your baby. You would bring your baby to the opening of the business. You would bring your baby to a interview talking about your company, Archwell, if it really is about your baby or kind of inspired by your baby. So it's a bunch of garbage about how Meghan came with the idea of arch, the Greek word meaning source of action. They wrote it in their joint statement in April via deadline. We connected to this concept for the charitable organization we hope to build one day, and it became the inspiration for our son's name. To do something of meaning, to do something that matters, which, let me stop right here. I'm salivating that this is so juicy. To do something of meaning, what would Meghan know of anything that has meaning? Oh, is that in reference to her feminist self that before Prince Harry and her marriage, she was feminine. I'm a feminist. Women are important. Women should be themselves. Women should do everything on their own. And yet she dropped that like a hot potato and hurry up and married a man that, in my opinion, doesn't match her in any way, shape, or form, unless we're talking about the devious side of them. So maybe the devious part of her recognized the devious part of him. So that's what I feel is kind of like matchy-matchy. However, when they talk right here about doing something of meaning, what have they done of meaning? Nobody at all can see, feel, taste, or touch this whole thing about meaning and doing something of meaning, or to do something that matters. Honestly, what she did is she made his money matter to her. Yes, she had a certain amount of her own money, of course, from her bit part playing a supporting role on this show called Suits, where she just could flaunt around a sexual type of character, which isn't a stretch for her considering that she was on these yachts and she was a hired quote-unquote yacht girl. I can include a link, but you all know this is old news. So Archwell is a name that combines an ancient word for strength and action and another that evokes the deep resources we must all draw upon. And that's what they're trying to say is strength. Well, we do know that these two will have to have some type of strength. I'm not sure how or where they're going to get it, buy it, or steal it, but I feel like I just don't connect more with Meghan Markle today and things that she says and does than I did 2 years ago. In fact, prior to her even meeting Prince Harry or dating Prince Harry, I had never heard of her. Somebody on the planet has, and those people must be very young, very, very young people who are now a few years older and more mature and maybe have grown out of Meghan and her schemes and her batting eyelashes and her high heels and her what are my outfits that I'm wearing today to try to look more Hollywood, because I never really had the money to do so until I married Prince Harry. Because let's face it, people, as I round out this video, Meghan Markle made money from Suits, from a character on Suits, and she was paid fairly well, but not in the beginning, but towards the end, middle, whatever, she started getting more money as it did do well on that B station channel, USA. So she did accumulate over 7 years a good amount of wealth. However, she also did a lot of spending and did a lot of the whole social media, look what I have, and all those things had to be bought, borrowed, or stolen. So we really don't know how much money she went into the royal family. And I can't remember where I ever read this, and please forgive me, don't come at me, but please forgive me if I can't remember. But I did read an article somewhere, and it had to do with Grace Kelly. And it talked about how Grace Kelly, when she married into the royals, the monarchy in Monaco, that she had to offer in some type of $1 million towards a dowry. I'm just kind of throwing that word in there. She came in and gave $1 million, or her father did. So it's like a dowry of some sort. So it makes me wonder what Meghan had to put in to make this deal happen. So put in the dowry or some type of money on the table to show your worth in basically gold or money, and so that's not uncommon for royal people, even all different, to come to the table with something. Think of the old days when there was cows and ham and I don't know, and you had fields of corn, and you would bring something to someone's house and say, I would love, for my son to marry your daughter. Here's a big bushel of corn. It's different today, but it's different in the way of what you bring to the table. It's kind of like an offering or some type of dowry. Okay, so I'm going to end it there, but I just wanted you all to know that this is juicy. But we all know that Meghan can't use Sussex Royale, and that's still being printed today, July 5th. Well, it's not today, but a few days ago, 2020, and they're still trying to bring Meghan into the current relevant media. So the news that's going on, coronavirus this, coronavirus that, and then Meghan has nothing to say. I've also found out that Meghan, and I did include that in my last video, that Meghan, in fact, and Prince Harry, in fact, were actually on house arrest. And that will all come out. It's my understanding through many other dealings and poking around in some places that you would think that her name wouldn't come up, has come up. And if it is true, we will all hear about this officially in some type of official capacity over the next year or so. So although it seems so far to wait, it will make sense at that time that, they're bringing Meghan into the news with no new news, because Meghan Markle is in fact on house arrest, and that she is on her way out. Maybe even there's some, again, it's still being sifted out, but they're even saying, there's even posts out there on social media saying Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been arrested and executed. And so that's allegedly, until we hear otherwise. However, they can be clones. We will start to look at their ears. We will start to compare the ears and side profiles and really pay attention, because some weird, magical, unearthly stuff is happening, and it is going to look a little different to us going forward. And I think that while they say that there's a charity, I think there won't be a charity, and I would challenge that in the in the next, going forward for the rest of this year and next year. Let's see if there is any such charity. And of course, anything that we find out today or we suspect is true or not today will play itself out, and the truth will be known eventually. So stick with me, and as weird as it sounds, let me know if you've heard and the same things, and you've investigated or looked into things, and you found some of these topics to come up and you believe they are true as well. I will see you in the next video. I would love to hear your comments. Well, read your comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.